We got a lot to discuss, right? Um, I'm trying to get in and get out, but I got a lot on my mind. I hate this team, right? So I, I'm gonna try to get through my points without being as crazy. I'm gonna try to harness that energy because I really do not like this Dallas Cowboys team or their fans or their players or anything else for that matter. This is the Voice of the Eagles show. And like always, God bless those Philadelphia Eagles. But enough of that. Let's get right into the live stream. So, Dak Prescott, he's not an MVP. Okay. He's not an MVP. Dak Prescott is not an MVP. Okay. This guy, Dak Prescott, first off, he's the most overrated player in the NFL. It's been that way for ever since he's been on a team, since probably his rookie year. Okay. And maybe that's because Dak Prescott is one of those guys to where, okay, you play for Dallas, so you're gonna get a lot of publicity because you play for Dallas, right? But he's not an MVP caliber quarterback. I mean, if you look at the numbers, I mean, the numbers look, really good. Okay. The numbers say Dak Prescott is in the upper echelon of quarterbacks. That's what that tells me. But when you look at in its totality, when you look at the record, you look at who's he's been playing. But like the teams that they've been up against are absolutely terrible. So these numbers are extremely inflated. I have numbers, I have stats, I have it all loaded, locked and loaded. And as I'm looking through, my notes and my stats, I'm not shocked, but I understand that this Dallas Cowboys team, this is what this is what they're always going to be. It's going to always be about stats with them. Okay. And the stats look good. So I'm confused. I'm wondering, okay, the record looks good. And I'm looking at the stats and it all match up. But when I take a deeper dive into just some of the teams that they've played so far, right? I could start there. Right. I can start with they started the season off against the Giants and the score was 40-0. Right? Like who's beating the team 40-0? Who's doing that? Right? Usually at a certain point, you take your starters out. I mean, come on, the score was 40-0. They never scored. So it was never close. You see, everything is so inflated with this team because they're playing the numbers game. It's about numbers with the Dallas Cowboys. So the first game of the season, the score was 40-0. They scored 40 points. I mean, they ran it up, man. They run up. That's what they do. They run up the stats, man. They run up the stats. Like there's no way. Okay, after the third quarter, after the third, going into the fourth quarter, I'm taking my guys out, right? After half. This team is bad. Okay. The score is what, 26-0 at the half. I probably would play my guys maybe halfway into but come on, man. This is what they do. This is what they do. And it's not even just this season. The bad teams, they're going to beat the bad teams really bad. Okay. I mean, I see. I mean, and even then, Dak, he was 54. He completed only 54% of his passes, only 143 yards. He did nothing. Okay, he did nothing this first game. He did absolutely nothing this first game, Dak Prescott, and they scored 40 points. Listen to me. Listen, bro. Dallas Cowboys scored 40 points, and Dak Prescott didn't even have a touchdown. Like, I mean, come on, man. This dude is really. I mean, bro, I didn't. That's wild to even look at that stat. But it was early in the season. This was early in the season. I'll give them that. But my whole thing is, bro, okay, they lost to the Cardinals. They lost to the Cardinals 28-16. You're going to lose against bad teams or teams you shouldn't lose to, right? That's going to happen. It's the NFL, right? Now, they got blew out. They got blew out. The 49ers smoked them, okay? The 49ers smoked us. So, I mean, I can understand why they lost to the 49ers because they're really not good, right? Now, against the Philadelphia Eagles, we were in the midst of an extremely tough schedule, but not them. They should have put up a better fight. If they were really, if the Cowboys was really good, I mean, it's week 5. If we seen the 49ers week 5, I think we put up a better fight than this because we're all fresh at that point, right? I mean, it's too early in the season for this to happen to them. Okay. But I'll still give them the benefit of the doubt because we got smoked by the 49ers as well. Okay. So I'm looking at the Rams. Okay. They blew the Rams out. Okay. They blew the Rams out. You look at the Giants. Here we are again with the Giants. Bro, they smoking the Giants. Like they're padding the stats, man. You look at the Giants team with a score at 49-17. The Giants scored most of their points in the fourth. So the Dallas Cowboys, they get you, man. The stats are extremely misleading. And I have stats as well. If I was to just compare stats, okay, if I was just to compare stats, follow along, right? If I was just to compare stats, they have really good stats. Their stats match up with almost anybody, right? So stats are misleading with the Dallas Cowboys because look, they pad the stats. They pad the stats. I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles offense versus the Dallas Cowboys offense, right? And the Dallas Cowboys are doing 49-17 on certain teams. 49-17. I mean, they're blowing bad. They're padding the stats, man. They're padding the stats, and it shows. It shows when you look at them. All right. Um, even if I was to, let me see if I can zoom this in for you guys. Or, but you look at their stats are just way too good, right? I mean, their stats stack up. Wait a second. Let me fix this. Hold on. Let me fix this. Wait, let me fix this real quick. All right, there we go. Boom. Okay, let me fix it. All right, there we go. Points per game. Philadelphia Eagles are 4th with 27 points per game. The Dallas Cowboys are 1st with 32. So these guys are scoring, right? They're 5th in yards per game. They're 3rd in points per play, which I don't really necessarily look too much into. Okay. Because you don't score points per play. But I'm looking at 3rd down conversions, they're 2nd. Okay, 4th down conversions, they're 21st. Touchdowns per game, they're 2nd. I mean, they score points, they score touchdowns. And it's extremely inflating because like who they're playing, right? And even if I mean the offense looks really good, the defense looks really good. There's some defensive stats as well. But here's my thing with the Dallas Cowboys. The stats are so misleading, right? All right, they blew the Giants out twice. They blew the Giants out twice. The first game of the season, they blew them out with a final score of the Giants didn't score. We're looking at 40 zip here. So the score is 40-0. All right, I'm gonna get into the comments. They're piling up a little bit, but I just think Dak is not a MVP level quarterback because his level of competition. Who are you beating? Right? Who are you beating? You didn't beat Brock Purdy. You beat Matthew Stafford. Okay, cool. All right. How much did you do there in that game? How much did you carry? Did you carry? What did you do? Did you lead the team? Let's see what he did. He put up 4 touchdowns and interceptions, so he went crazy. Okay, it's the Rams, right? But he's still winning. Here's my thing. They haven't played any competition. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. All of their competition is coming late in the season. All their competition is coming late in the season. Okay, and it's going to come back and bite them. It's going to come back and bite them. And it's going to start with us. It's going to start with us. I mean, they blew out the Commanders. They blew out the Commanders 45. See, they blowing out the bad teams. We struggled against the bad teams, but we still won, right? We still won. But the fact that I just don't trust this Dallas Cowboys team, man, because they haven't played the Dolphins. They haven't played anybody. They got to play the Lions. They got to play the Bills. They beat the Seahawks. Okay, they beat the Seahawks. I guess that was an impressive one. But the Seahawks, they went. I mean, that was a game. They pulled out a close game. So I would give them that. They've had some close games and they pulled them out. Okay. But I just don't think they've played the quality type of opponents that we've played consecutively in a row. I think their schedule is extremely advantageous, and that's what they did to us, right? They told us last year, you guys schedule, or you didn't play anybody. That's what everybody told us last year. Now what could you say? Mind you, we already beat Dallas. We already beat Dallas. So Dak is the MVP. Okay, I think Jalen Hurts is the MVP. If you look at who you look at now we can segue into Jalen Hurts his competition. Okay, we can look at Jalen Hurts competition and we can see the guys he's been up against, right? The type of caliber quarterbacks. Let's see let's we got to compare these quarterbacks when you're talking about an MVP. It's strictly a quarterback reward. So we got to look at who did this quarterback play and who did he beat? Because it's a quarterback award, right? And I mean, Jalen Hurts, he's beaten a lot of really good quarterbacks. All right, let's look at the comments. I'm gonna get into the comments real quick. I'm gonna get into the comments, but after I do that, I'm gonna look at Jalen Hurts and look at his look at some of the guys he played and his stats leading up to right now. Okay, Philly Eagle says, "Yo, what's up, bro?" Sebastian says, "Brother man, how you get him?" Yeah, I don't know what you mean, bro. Dak is outplaying Jalen Hurts statistically because he's playing. I mean, he's playing nobody. Okay, so he's playing nobody. Zach. Cowboys have a record-setting point differential. The point differential again, they're blowing out bad teams. They're padding the stats. I pointed that out because I knew that was going to be a common thing. Eagles have won by 1 score against winning opponent, same as Cowboys versus Eagles. Yeah, we beat them. All right, we have a harder schedule. We have a harder schedule. So far we beat tougher opponents. Eagles defense is 24th in points allowed. Yes, they are. And guess what? We have the best record in the NFL. Despite that, we still had the best record in the NFL. Okay. Dak is an NFL quarterback playing worse competition, has better coaching. That's all Hurts is, better player and better talent mentally and physically. Well, okay, say Hurts is a better player and better talent. Yeah, I agree with that. He's a better talent because he can throw the ball, he can run the ball very efficiently. So I give him the edge, and he's cerebral with his mind. Him and Dak. You're straight up delusional if you think that Dak is not an MVP. Look, man, this again. You can't look at just stats when you're looking at a MVP. You have to look at it's strictly a quarterback. It's a quarterback award. So they're going off a huge part of that is your record because the most valuable player should be on the best team, the team with the best record. Right now, that's Jalen Hurts. Okay, so whichever team has the best record in the NFL, that quarterback should always have an advantage in the MVP race because it's a quarterback-driven award, and part of this award is based on your record and who else have you played besides quarterbacks. So they're looking at which quarterbacks did you beat during this season, right? Jalen Hurts has beat Josh Allen. He beat Patrick Mahomes. They don't care about how you did it, okay? If I'm a voter, as far as a voter who's voting for MVP, at the end of the day, this is what it boils down to. The overall record and the head-to-head matchups. And to beat Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and he already beat Dak. He has to have the heads. He has to have the advantage right now. Okay, he has to have advantage over Dak. Brock Purdy would be number one right now because he beat Jalen and he beat Dak. So whoever wins this game is going to probably be at number two. Right now it's Brock Purdy. This is how they do. This is how they grade. This is how they grade these awards, man. I'm sorry. This is how they do it. It's not about the stats. It's about the team with the best record and the guy who you got to have some stats to back it up, which you will have. You're going to have the stats if you're one of the best teams in the NFL with the best record. Okay, so the quarterback is going to be playing a league. It goes hand in hand, right? So it's more about your overall record and who did you beat face to face or versus. And Jalen Hurts, he beat better competition so far. So you got to get it. You got to give it to Brock Purdy at one because if Jalen Hurts would have beat Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts would be the clear cut favorite. Right now, Brock Purdy just Brock Purdy has the edge because he beat Jalen Hurts and Dak. So it's and in all actuality, it's Brock Purdy, it's Jalen Hurts, and it's Dak Prescott. If Dak Prescott beats Jalen Hurts, he's going to be second. He may can have a real argument for first. Okay, but it's all about head-to-head matchups, man. It's all about head-to-head matchups and your overall record. I'm a 49er. The 49ers offered Dallas the script on beating us. What kind of is that? I think they're both scared of us. Yeah, they got the script now. Yeah, it's gonna be tough beating Dallas at home. Dallas have won 14 at home. They had so they already came out and said, yeah, we pretty much look at how they, you know, but I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles got deep into their playbook. So you can take some things away. Dallas already know how to like play us, right? So I don't really think they gave the 49ers too much from film because Dallas, we play them all the time. So they already know how to attack us. So we know how to attack them. It's all about who executes, who can execute more effectively. Because everybody know how to attack each other. It's no secret. It's all about who can execute their attack more effectively. You know, I'm done with you, bro. You tripping? I don't know how I'm tripping, but I don't know, bro. Dak isn't trash. He shouldn't get MVP because if the Cowboys didn't have Dak, they will win those games. I don't know, man. It's just again, it just boils down to the overall. It boils down to the overall record and what quarterback has beaten. I mean, go in versus who have you win against? What quarterbacks have you win against? If you win against quality opponents, and so and that in record, that's what it boils down to. And right now, Jalen Hurts has. I already went through it, bro. I already went through the MVP thing and how I look at it, and that's pretty much how I feel like they graded. Bam Bam Ernie Gang, after Birds, y'all got exposed. Look, they still talking about the 49ers are still talking about the game against the Eagles. Like they just been talking about this since last year. They've been the only one really talking about that game, honestly, and they're still talking about it. Well, I'm on to the real ops. My real opponents is my real threat is the Dallas Cowboys, not the 49ers, bro, at the end of the day. Right. But this just goes to show just how, bro, they've been talking about this they've been talking about this since we knocked Brock Purdy out. It's wild to me. Okay, your team not good. You saying you saying a team with the best record in the NFL isn't good. Okay, bro. Okay. Well, hold on. I'm way too far in the comments. Let's see. Yeah, I'm way too far in the comments all the time. Let's see. You almost won yourself. Okay, what the fuck does that even mean? All right, let's see. Let's get to something. I can't read through all these comments, and yeah, I can't do that, bro. Yeah, that's so quick. Okay, let's look at the last four comments. I come on pretty strong, bro, but it's all love. Just Cal is a real star, though. He made Jimmy G. Look, we still talking. They look with the 49ers. We still talking the 49ers. Is you a bandwagon? Hold on, wait. Hold on. Let's highlight this right quick. I'm glad I found this one right here. I'm glad I found him right. He said, "Is you a bandwagon?" You look at his name. I'm not gonna read his name, but for you to even ask me that, right? I, I'm gonna send your ass to the loser lounge, bro. Hurts got exposed. I'm finna expose you to the fucking loser lounge. Let's see what else. Uh, Law Nation. Yep. I don't care. Send your ass to the loser lounge too. Cool. Let's get some people out of here. We back. All right. So, like I was saying, the the Dallas Cowboys, they just haven't played anybody, man. I'll be honest with you. They use the same. They said the same exact thing about us. They would last year. Last year, the whole argument was the Philadelphia Eagles haven't played anyone. That was their entire argument. I mean, most of the NFL. So if you look at, I mean, these guys just haven't played anyone. I'm sorry. All right. The good teams that they've played, they've lost to the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers. So, I mean, they'll have to prove it. They're 0-2 against teams with winning records. Period. Okay, so they can't fucking beat anybody, man. That's my whole thing. And that's what Dallas Cowboys have been for 20, I mean over a quarter century. It's all about the stats, it's all about the spotlight, it's all about the headlines for them. They've sold their soul already for those old ass championships that they got. Right? The Dallas Cowboys get more popularity when they lose. Okay? And that's what it really all boils down to. That's what it's really all about. The Dallas Cowboys have won 14 in a row at home. That streak is coming to an end. Okay. Jalen Hurts, he was just 14-0 against winning teams. Right. So it's all coming to it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. Again, it's more popular when the Dallas Cowboys lose. And that's what they're all about, popularity. Okay. This isn't about, I mean, you look at Jerry Jones, he done got everything he wanted out of life. He got those championships. He got however many he had. He had a dynasty team way back when. Okay, he can ride off into the sunset. Now he has a good team. A good team now, uh, as far as if you, I can't even call him a good team. I would say a good team as far as stats go, right? But I mean, they haven't won. They haven't been winning championships, right? And over a quarter century. So I can't even say that. I can't personally say that they're a winning franchise, but they've had winning records, right? But in the playoffs, we know what happens to them in the playoffs. Utter embarrassment. They're always the favorite to win a Super Bowl, and they get utterly embarrassed. It's an embarrassment. Okay. So I'm looking at just their history overall and the fact that they haven't won in so long. I'm looking at, the level of competition. They don't beat good teams. This is a trend. This has been going on for years. I mean, this is dating back from, right. And trust me, as much as I hate the Cowboys, you guys know how much I hate the Cowboys. I didn't even want to pull up Dak Prescott's record against winning teams. That would have been an icing on the cake, right? So I don't really try to go overboard too far, but I try to keep it. I try to keep my analysis based purely upon right this year. Okay, for the most part. Okay, but you gotta look at the past, present, and the future as well. Okay, you gotta look at all those things. But yeah, I mean, I just think these guys don't ever play up to their competition. But they beat up on bad teams. That's why I really have no respect for them. Really, this is why I don't respect them. This is really why I don't respect them. This is why I really don't respect them. Why can't you beat up on a good team? Huh? If y'all really like that, why not? Why can't you beat up on a team with a winning record? And how long Eagles won the first Super Bowl? It's not about how long we won our first. It's the fact that we have one and it's recent. It's the most recent Super Bowl in our division. So yes, I'm going to flex on it. It's the most recent Super Bowl in the entire division. Yes, I'm going to flex. Yes, I'm going to flex it. Nah, bro. See, you can't. That's not how you really look at football, bro. You don't really look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it really. You can't equate the because it's so many different variables, right? It's so many different variables. It's so many different variables. So you can't really. It be complete situations. Player teams be in different phases of the season, so it'd be hard to evaluate a team when it's a lot of different variables, bro. And this is for sure different variables. So I'd never go off, oh well, this team beat this team by this much, but they lost to the other team. Yeah, I don't really do that. That's very simplistic and it's kinda that's kind of for like noobs. If you a noob or don't really follow football, you kind of use that logic, right? I don't really use that logic. Bro, say wait. Somebody said this guy is terrible. When Dallas beat the E girls, please don't delete this live stream. I don't delete anything. He says this guy's takes is very terrible, but you're here listening to them. You're here listening to them. So I mean, it is what it is. You shouldn't be here. Listen to a terrible take. I don't listen to terrible takes. Actually, I don't listen to anybody. So the fact that you're even listening to other people's takes says a lot about you. You said what's Dak record against the Eagles? Right now, he's 0-1 against the Eagles this season. Okay, he's 0-1 this year against this. I mean, he's 2-0. I mean, he's 0-2. Well, no, he didn't play because he was injured. And then these guys haven't really matched up as of late. But right now, Jalen Hurts this season, Jalen Hurts is 1-0 against Dak Prescott, right? And it's going to be 2-0. All right, these guys really don't face off again, haven't faced off against each other. The first matchup, Dak had like a thumb or something. And then later on that same year, which was last year, Jalen Hurts had a shoulder. Okay, so they finally got to face off in the beginning of this year, and Jalen Hurts won. Right, Dak Prescott put up. It was a really good game. But of course, Dak Prescott doesn't pull those type of games off, those close games, and Jalen Hurts did. So right now, Jalen Hurts is 1-0 against Dak Prescott. We're talking about Jalen against Dak. And as of right now, with two equally matched teams, Jalen Hurts has the lead. Right? This game is huge. This game is huge, okay, for both players' legacies. So it's gonna be interesting. This guy is stressing. This guy is stressing out. I'm not stressing out. Why would I be stressing? All right, bro. I can't worry too many more of yours. Oh, well, there's not a lot of comments. Bro, say we need Frank right ASAP. Our offense can't keep continuing to struggle. I wouldn't say we're necessarily struggling. I mean, it's just it takes time to gel. We've lost offensive coordinators, and it's hard to find another a play caller, bro. It's kind of oh man, to go from Shane Steichen to somebody else is really tough because Shane was, I mean, golly, Shane and Nick Foles. I mean, Nick. I mean, not Nick Foles. Shane Steichen with Nick Sirianni and Jonathan Gannon, bro. We had I mean, Nick Sirianni had a amazing staff with him, right? So when you lose, both of your coordinators to head coaching jobs, that it hurts. It hurts the team. So we're still figuring it out on the fly. That's what's so amazing about this team. We're still figuring it out on the fly. We have two different coordinators, and we still have the best record in the NFL. That's crazy. Let's go. Little go eat Lunchables. We had him before he knew the system and he can help us. No, but no, I mean it wasn't. It's not the same system, bro. And I'm a fan of Frank Wright. It's just it's the different system. But Nick Sirianni has these Indianapolis Colts, right? He has those ties. So when he bring in a linebacker, when we need a linebacker, it's like okay, he pulls some strings to go get this guy. So there's still a lot of buzz behind the scenes activities as far as some of the coaching and the coaching staff, and they like guys, they know how to go get them, right? So Nick Sirianni, he had his hand in going to get Shaq Leonard. But again, bro, it's the coaching staff is huge. And if you think guys don't still have plugs or way to go go pull certain players or teammates or former staff members to the organization that they're in now. It's crazy that that's something you have to really look into because that's definitely a possibility. Uh, you look at Zach Pascal, the receiver that we went and got last year from the Colts. Nick Sirianni still he tapped into his roots in Indianapolis with the Colts. So a lot of that plays a role into it as well, man, for real. And we talk about the system. Frank Reich, Nick Sirianni comes from Frank Reich, right? He comes from the coaching tree, and we won a Super Bowl with Frank. So we already got a Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni, in a way. So we really don't need Frank. Honestly, he won us a Super Bowl, yeah. And when we seen that this guy can win us a Super Bowl, we just went and got a younger version of him. So it still ties in. But Frank Reich in Philly, yeah, I think that ship has sailed. Honestly, he went. Yeah, I think it's over with for that. Because you got a Nick Sirianni, he's like a Frank Reich. You said 31-20. 31-20 sound about fair. Eagles 41-20 Philly for sure. But yeah, okay, good. Now I'll get back into my points. I got all into the comment section. Okay, I want to make sure that I actually, acknowledge you guys and read the comments. But okay, Dak is not MVP simply because he hasn't he hasn't had the caliber of competition, right? He not at least not yet. Maybe down the line when he plays the Cowboys, the Bills. Okay, he beat the Seahawks, but when he plays the Cowboys and the Bills, the Dolphins and the Eagles, He has 4 games to prove it. It's gonna start with the Eagles, which I don't think he's gonna prove it. Then the 17th, he's gonna play the Bills. I don't think they're gonna beat the Bills. I don't think they beat the Eagles or the Bills, and I really don't think they beat the Dolphins or the Cowboys. I got them losing the rest of their games. I got them losing the next 4 of their games at least. They're gonna lose against the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Dolphins, and the Lions. Well, they're at home for they're on the road, so they get a home game against the Eagles. They need this game against the Eagles. I'm not gonna lie to you. They really need this game. Or if they can go 2-2, if they can beat the Lions at home and the Eagles at home and just lose the 2 road games, but I don't think that's gonna happen. They're gonna win one game out of this, and it might be the Lions when they really need it. But I definitely got them losing all of these games. It's December. This is when this team, I mean, they beat the Seahawks. They did beat the Seahawks November, but in December, this team implodes. I think the Cowboys implode, and it's going to be the Eagles' loss. The loss against the Eagles is going to be an Eagles loss. They're going to suffer a loss against the Eagles, which is going to catapult them into a loss at home against the Bills. The Bills are good. The Bills are fighting for their soul. The Bills are going to be fresh off a bye the week before or whatever, so they're going to be relatively fresh. Then they got the Dolphins. Like, come on, man. Yeah, Michael Parsons was talking crap about. He already had. Yeah. The Dolphins gonna come in this game ready, and the Dolphins are at home. Then they play the Lions. They may beat the Lions, but at this point, it's going to be over. And then they made. I'll give them the Commanders game, but you never know with Dallas Cowboys, bro. They just choke, and it's the start of December. We finna kick it off right for them. Yep, we finna kick it off right for them. We know how they are in December. They always choke, and usually it's in December. Yeah, he can't be the man can't be Rick can't be good team. Okay, the Bills. And I wouldn't even say good teams. Teams with a better with a elite level quarterback. Okay, and you got some elite level quarterbacks over here and coming up. I just don't think he's equipped or prepared. Okay, and they won 14 at home, but this game is going to be a good game. I will say this: the Eagles against the Cowboys is going to be a really good game. Okay, I'm not even going to act like it's not. You look at their last 3 games, and they've been really solid. They've been really fun to watch. So their games have been really fun to watch. I would say that. But I think Philly get them. Philly need this win a little bit more, especially coming off that loss. I think we're more hungry. We need Frank Reich ASAP. Yeah, that ain't happening. Frank Reich might be done in the NFL because Frank Reich went from the Colts and then he got the Cardinals. So he's been having gig after gig, but he hasn't been. Yeah, I think he might be done in the NFL permanently, man. Once you have 2 failures at the end, as a head coach in the NFL, yeah, I think you're done. I think you're done. Yeah, we're talking about Frank Reich. Nah, I think it's over with for the Frank Reich thing, man. We already get, yeah, I already touched on it. I think it's not a thing. I don't think it's happening. We had him before he knew the system, and he can help. Nah, bro, I think that's over with. I'm telling you, bro, it's over with. It would have happened already. I don't think. Yeah, I think I think it's a foregone conclusion. It would have happened. It would have already happened when Frank Reich was fired from the the Colts when he was fired. I think it would have happened right after that. So I mean, maybe Frank Reich seen he had a Panther. You know, the Panthers offered him some, and the Eagles offered him some, and the Panthers' offer was maybe a little bit better. So maybe he went with that, right? But I don't think I don't know. I could see Nick Sirianni offer him a job. I could definitely see that happening. But I think I think Frank Reich is kind of like, yeah, man, you already had two stints where when you know and you failed. I think that's when it shows that it's pretty much over. I think it's a wrap for Frank Reich. Hurts is not MVP. You say Hurts is not MVP? I can segue right into that because I'm always prepared, bro. You saying he's not MVP? How come? Jalen Hurts is MVP? Ah, right. Now we look at stats and then stuff started to change. Okay. I say Dak is not Jalen. Dak is not MVP. Jalen Hurts is. And I'll sum this up for you guys real quick, okay? Here's the difference with Dak and Jalen Hurts, or Jalen Hurts or just NFL quarterbacks in general. Okay, you can look at. Let me see if I can I zoom this in for you guys so you can actually. Oh, there we go. If I show you guys the stats, right? You see, I mean, Dak has them in completion percentage, passing yards per average yards per pass, passing yards per game, passing touchdowns, least amount of picks thrown, and a quarterback rating of 108. So he has Jalen in all those categories, right? But if you look at passing yards, Jalen is literally right behind him. Okay. Passing yards per attempt, he's right there. Yards per game, he's right there. Passing touchdowns, Dak has them by what? 7. So okay, that's interceptions. Dak has them by what? Dak has 4 4 less than Jalen Hurts. The quarterback rating, again, you look at 93.8 versus a 108.3. So Dak has him there as well. And the completion percentage, Dak is completing 70% of his passes. Dude is on fire indeed. So he has him in most of these categories. Not by much. Completion percentage, okay, he has. But passing yards, not by a large margin, right? Or yards per attempt. Yards per game, not by a lot. What, 20 yards? That's it. Passing touchdowns, he got him by about 7. So okay. But here's the thing. Hear me out. You look at Jalen Hurts, this dude right here, him right here, Jalen. You look at his rushing yards. Okay, it blows Dak Prescott out of the water. Okay. And you look at the rushing yards, 430 rushing yards. As a quarterback, to Dak's 174. Okay, Dak is averaging 4.2 more, but that's because he has less rushing attempts. You look at the rushing touchdowns. Jalen Hurts has 12 rushing touchdowns. Dak Prescott only has 2. All right, so if we go back to touchdowns, you add 19 to 12, and what do you get? Right? You get more. Jalen Hurts has more touchdowns than Dak Prescott. Okay. And touchdowns is points. Touchdowns just determine the game, right? So Jalen Hurts, he's a different kind of a when you evaluate Jalen Hurts versus a guy like Dak Prescott, you have to add in the rushing yards and the touchdowns. And it seems as though I don't know if they're omitting these stats out purposely, right? You look at the rushing yards. As a quarterback, they're omitting they're not they don't want to look at these, okay? Because the disparity is so glaring. Right, but you don't understand what this type of production really does in the NFL. It makes a defense have to strain or struggle to defend you because now they know that you're just as deadly with your arm as you are with your legs. And when you have a dual threat quarterback like that can throw the ball and can run the ball, and is also cerebral with his mind. It's a much harder cover. It's much harder to cover Jalen Hurts than a Dak Prescott. But they omit the rush. They omit the rushing yards, the rushing touchdowns, and that's where the NFL is. That's where a lot of analysts and even content creators they aren't properly putting the respect on this guy as a touchdown machine without throwing the ball. Okay, he'll have to throw the ball to score a touchdown, even his rushing yards. The rushing yards per average, you would like that to be up more, but he has the attempts, and it's like it's hard, bro. I would rather cover a guy that can't run because I know he's going to throw the ball. I would not. I would rather defend a Dak Prescott than a Jalen Hurts. Okay, because Jalen Hurts is going to make your life a living hell, right? Dak Prescott, with a 70 completion percentage, he wants to, he's going to dot you up some, right? Jalen Hurts, he's going to get you with both, and you going to have to be on your, you going to have to worry about so many different elements of this dude's game. Right. And when you got a quarterback that's like that can maneuver around like a running back, yeah, man, it starts to it's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. I would rather play a Dak Prescott for real. I honestly would rather play a Dak Prescott. I don't want any parts of a guy like this guy, okay? Because first off, your completion, you got a 66 completion percentage, bro. You dotting stuff up. You got 3,000 yards passing almost. He's 5 away from 3,000. You average that off to 3K. Both of these guys got over 3,000 yards passing already. Okay, yeah, man. I don't want anything to do with a Jalen Hurts. Okay. Because there's so much you got to worry about, bro. Right. And it's annoying. It's really annoying. So there's ways with a Jalen Hurts, you want to make sure he's not in a position where he's scoring rushing touchdowns. Right. You don't want to see him running the ball at all. Because now, he's in his element because he can throw and run. Dak can't really do that. And Jalen Hurts has more touchdowns than Dak. Right. So they try to omit all of the rushing yards, guys. This is what they do. They omit the rushing, they omit, meaning they discard the rushing yards, the rushing touchdowns, and all of that. Okay. And because it's a quarterback, we're really looking at how you throw the ball. So I understand it. But when you do that, you diminish just how lethal this dude is. And not only do you diminish how lethal he is, you also you do yourself a disservice because bro, you have to be ready for how he what he does with his legs, regardless. Okay, regardless of if he's getting rushing yards or touchdowns, that's a whole different element. I would rather have to deal with Dak Prescott get right with his legs too, though. But I would rather a guy that I know he's going to run the ball. He's going to try to throw the ball. I know a guy who's trying to. I would rather deal with a guy who's just trying to throw the ball. Okay. Now, if Dak had this element, or if Jalen Hurts, I think Jalen Hurts has the element of Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott may have a tad bit more arm talent, but Jalen Hurts he's gonna figure it out. He's still getting better. So eventually Jalen Hurts is going to have the arm talent. Okay. And he's gonna keep getting better at that. We don't know his ceiling yet. You're right. So right now it's definitely Jalen, man. It's definitely Jalen. And you give it to Jalen, you give the edge to Jalen just based off, his rushing touchdowns and his rushing yards, bro. Okay, again, I would rather deal with a Dak than a Jalen any day, any time of the day, any time of the day. And that's my. And of course, Dak is a choke artist, right? We know that. We look at his history in the playoffs. Um, but we definitely have some enforcements offensively.
The Cowboys haven't.
But I want to get into what some of these guys had to
The
say.
Cowboys haven't.
Rushers, these
Taylor, the Cowboys have.
I want to get into what some of these guys have to say about the game coming up. But I'll get into the comments though. Comments just pile up so fast. So I'll run it. I'll run it. I'll get into the comments real quick. I'll get into the comments and we can go from there. Hold on. 31 in here. Let's see the comments. Let's start with. There's a lot of comments. Rob be trying to keep up. Dallas wins. Eagles lost. We'll see. I doubt it. I doubt it, man. You can put your money where your mouth is. Consulting is always a good way to go. Back into gear. We need a consultant. I don't know. Brian Johnson ain't really that really. Brian Johnson isn't really that bad, man. I've done the whole. I've been. I think I probably feel like I started the wave of fire Brian Johnson because I've been saying it since week 2. But they've gotten better, and it's just gonna take time, bro. It's honestly gonna take time. If Brian Johnson was out of the job in Philadelphia, he would be a head coach somewhere, or he'd be an offensive coordinator somewhere else. So I think it's just more. It's just more of. I think we probably should just relax a little bit, right? We still had the best record in the NFL. All right, and for me to say that to you guys is wild because I was already talking about firing this dude in week 2. Debo is a beast. AJ, come on, bro. Who ain't no okay, let's see. Let me see. All right, because I already know, yeah. Send your ass to the loser lounge, bro. I feel like you a 49ers fan. If Dak has a 4 touchdown game and Jalen plays bad and loses, is the only way I'll put him ahead of Jalen. If Dak beats us, he's second in the vote. You got to give it to Brock because Brock beat Dak and Jalen. Bro, this thing is really more about the best record and head-to-head competition. Who have you played? Who have you played? Who have you played? What quarterbacks have you beat head-to-head? What great defense Dak played against? Nothing. I don't think any. He had. Bro, it's not. He just hasn't played the competition yet, and it's coming up. He's definitely gonna have a chance to prove himself. But right now, it's too early to give him that because he has his biggest stretch is coming up now. It's coming up. It's coming up. His biggest stretch with the Lions, with the Dolphins, and I'm not saying they got a good defense. They got a good team. You just got to beat the team, man. You just got to win, right? You got the Eagles, then you got the Dolphins, you got the Bills, you got the Lions, and you gotta win those games. You just got to win. Honestly, you just got to find a way to get your team to win. You know what I'm saying? And I think Dak will wrap it up. If he can beat us and the Bills and the Dolphins, he wraps it up. Nah, I think you probably will lean towards that. But I mean, you look at Brock Purdy, it'll essentially become a two-man race with Brock Purdy, and I think Jalen Hurts is out of the conversation if he doesn't beat. He didn't beat Brock, so you gotta beat Dak. If you don't beat Dak, Jalen is out of the race. Jalen is out of the race if he does not beat Dak. Bro, say it's a setup like this for a reason. Jalen beats Sears. Dak lost twice to him. Forms a win out means Jalen beats Purdy as well. Yeah, win out. Yeah, he does. He just need at least 3 convincing wins. And Jalen Hurts will have to get the number 1 seed. But then yeah, he would have to get the number 1 seed. And that at that point, he got to beat Dak to be in the conversation. I think Brock Purdy and I think Dak loses another one. I think they lose somewhere else. But if Jalen gets the number 1 seed and beats Dak, I mean that he might have he'll have an edge. He has to beat Dak. This is huge. This game is huge. This is going to show who's the MVP. This is going to be huge on MVP implication. But still, Brock Purdy got to go beat the Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has to go and beat Lamar Jackson. I don't think they're gonna do it. So if Lamar Jackson beats Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts wins out and beats Dak and get the number 1 seed, it's a wrap. If Brock Purdy wins, if Brock here's the thing, if Brock Purdy beats the Rams and somehow if they beat the Rams and get the number 1 seed, yeah, it's definitely Brock Purdy's MVP. Okay, but I think all of these teams lose another game. So it's gonna be tough. This is coming down to the wire. This MVP race is really interesting. I would say that, and I think anybody can get it. Right? I think anybody can get it. Lamar can even sneak in. I don't think Lamar. I don't know, man, but it's interesting. It's extremely interesting. Facts for Lamar, they don't admit it, but for Jalen, they always did. The rushing yards, it's hard. They try to, they don't look at because it's just funny, bro. It's funny because they're still not ahead of the curve. Like it's a different league right now, man. You want a quarterback, a dual threat quarterback, because when your play call isn't working, all right, this guy he can at least buy time and get run around and get somebody open. Okay, so but again, the rushing touchdowns, that's just over the top. I think with Jalen Hurts and his rushing touchdowns, I think that's just next level, man. It's hard to actually compensate for or understand the magnitude of how it's hard to defend, man, with a guy like Jalen for real. But again, they don't know how to adequately assess the damage that these guys are doing with his legs. The yards in general can be inflating because with yards you can throw for thousands of yards, but you get in a red zone and not score, right? So you can score for a lot of yards and not capitalize on it. So yards is like empty calories. It's very misleading. But rushing touchdowns, like, dude, he's scoring, and he's using his legs to score, right? So you look at his touchdowns, and I mean, it's hard to devalue that. But again, I think fans, I think they're not. They should understand that there's a different level, right? And you with these quarterbacks with the rushing, the yards that they're getting on the ground, bro, it's next level, man. It's next level. And I think a lot of guys are I don't think they have it. I don't think a lot of fans and some of the coaching haven't caught up with the the change in the NFL. Yeah, Jalen got 12 rushing touchdowns. Do you know how crazy that is? To go along with 19 passing touchdowns. Bro, that is wild. Seriously. That is unheard. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Doesn't Hurts have like 15 turnovers? Nah, he don't have 15 turnovers right now. He don't got 15 turnovers, bro. Well, does he? Uh nah. He has 10 interceptions. He has 10 interceptions. But again, he has the best record in NFL, right? Beating guys, he beat Dak Prescott already. If he would have beat Brock Purdy, it probably would have been over. He would have been if do it because look, this is how they grading it. Well, again, I'll tell you guys one more time. I've said it all throughout this live stream. They're grading the MVP is for quarterbacks. And the quarterback who has the best, number one, they have the best with the top record in NFL. If you had the best record in NFL, your stats is going to follow, right? So if you had the best record in NFL, and if you've beaten other MVP caliber quarterbacks, you're going to have the heads up. Okay, if Jalen would have beat Brock, he'd have been clear. If Dak Prescott would have beat Brock and Jalen, he'd have been an MVP. He was nothing you to be able to do about it. Okay. So that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. You got to beat other MVP caliber quarterbacks. Period. Hurts is a triple threat. He absolutely is, man. Jalen has 14 turnovers. Dak has 6. That plays a role as well. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't really affect the overall outcome of your record and who you're beating, then it really honestly it doesn't matter to enter the turnovers, right? And so turnovers, just for now, for example, Jalen has 14 turnovers and Dak has 6, right? That would not matter at all if Jalen Hurts would have beat Brock Purdy, right? Or if Dak Prescott would have beat Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy. If Dak would have beat Jalen Hurts, he would have the edge. He just would, right? So if the turnovers are contributing and you losing these games against quality teams and quality quarterbacks, if it's a huge contribution, if it's the reason you lose, then yeah, you got to take those into account. How could a dude with fourth turn be lethal? Come on, bro. I'm not even gonna answer that. I ain't gonna answer that. He said they don't for Jackson though, just like they hype up the. Yeah, they don't. They really don't, man. They don't. Mental toughness, pass and run equal triple threat. Yeah, mental toughness, anything mentally, right? So a lot of guys have if you're in the NFL as a quarterback, you have that, right? But there's different levels to that mental toughness. Okay, so I think Jalen Hurts is definitely a triple threat. I think Dak is a triple. I would say he a triple threat, but he's not. He uses his legs as well, so I don't really want to take none away from Dak. But he's not as dynamic as Jalen, right? But I would say Jalen is definitely a triple threat. Eagles just need to get some early shots on Dak. That's what every quarterback. That's what every quarterback. That's what every quarterback. Tush push carries Jalen rush. It doesn't matter. It works. It doesn't matter. It works. Dak can take the MVP over the next 3 games. If he wins those games and plays good, he'll take it. No, he won't. It depends on what Brock Purdy does. If Brock Purdy gets the number 1 seed, he's the MVP because he's beat both of these guys. So, bro, I'm telling you, it's about who have you beat. Okay, if Brock Purdy's the number 1 seed at the end of the season, it's we're giving it to Brock, and I'll be fine with it. I will be hurt, and I will understand it. I don't know if I'll be fine with it. There's some bias there, but because he's beating Jalen Hurts and Dak, so if he gets the number 1 seed, you're giving it to him. You're giving it to him. You're giving it to Brock. All right. Okay. Let's see. Just agreed Dak. Dak wins out. Yeah, whoever wins out wins the MVP. Let's put it like that. If Jalen wins out, he wins the MVP. If Dak wins out, he wins the MVP. If Brock Purdy wins out, he wins the MVP. Okay. Whoever wins out wins the MVP. Okay. Period. Whoever gets the home field advantage, Brandon wins the MVP. Okay. That's pretty much that's I think that's how it's gonna work out. Uh golly. I wanna touch on this guy real quick, man. Shaq Leonard. We have reinforcements coming back, okay? We have Shaq Leonard. We have a three-time. This guy's a 3 or 4-time All-Pro. What does the graphic say right there? He's a 3-time All-Pro. Okay, with a dude like this, he's had multiple back surgeries. So I'm kind of skeptical. Okay, because he got to learn how to walk and run, or he got to get used to some of the daily things that he was doing some of the things that he was custom doing on a daily basis. But he's a 3-time All-Pro. He's had 2 back surgeries. So I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know with some of these guys with a Julio. Okay, I'm like, I knew Julio wasn't gonna be it, and I was right. With it was another linebacker, Miles Jack. I was wrong on him. He retired on us. Okay, and Zach Cunningham wound up being a guy who would produce. I hope this dude, Shaq Leonard, he's a 3-time All-Pro. He's under 30. I hope he has something left in the tank. I really do. And he came out and pretty much said that it was like some with his back.
When you line up
And
against
I'll just play it. But let me play it. Hold on.
It's no matter who I'm facing.
Welcome to Philly, Shaq.
I appreciate you, man.
So, why Philly over Dallas?
I don't think it was just Dallas, Philly. It was more so, Nick and I were together when we was in Indy. Nick was a great coach, great competitor. We had a bond, when we was in Indy. So we kind of just went with that.
How'd you form that bond, being defensive captain over there, and him obviously working on the offensive side of the ball?
For one, just competing against each other, day in and day out. And then in team meeting rooms on Saturdays, whenever they had to stand up, offense coordinators had to talk. We kind of joked around because he always said "all right" after maybe every 2 words, and we kind of built a bond from there. And then just kind of kept with it from there.
You talked about a sales pitch. What was the sales pitch for you to come to Philly?
It was more so just the environment that I would be in. It fit my mentality and the dog mentality that he has. The defense when they run sideline to sideline, it was kind of my scheme, and taking the ball away, something that I could kind of bring, and that kind of was it.
Where do you see yourself fitting within this defense? Obviously, they struggled a lot on Sunday. So how do you think you can really add something?
I just think wherever they need me. That's my job is to come in. Wherever the coach need me to be. That's who I'm gonna be. Just experience. I think that I can, help that out. Just what I see on the field or on the sideline, whatever the case may be, and just be the best teammate I could possibly be.
And you have an accomplished career. You're 3-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler. This season and last season, production has been down. What do you think is the reason?
He said you've been a 3-time All-Pro. What have you think has been the lack of production in the past 2 seasons? This is why he was cut. This is why there's been a lack of production from Shaq Leonard. He's going to explain that right here. It's extremely important for that.
I think I had 2 back surgeries. I think that might be the number one reason. But just kind of get acclimated back again, playing football and
2 back surgeries? Bro, I see why he was available. This man had 2 back surgeries. Okay, now I'm gonna be honest with Julio. I was honest with you guys. I knew like, yeah, he's not it. Okay, with Shaq, I don't. If Shaq Leonard, I hope he can prove me wrong. I don't think he's it. You had 2 back surgeries. A surgery on your back, something is critical, bro. That's something with your spine, or yeah, man. I can't say that I'm comfortable with. But if he's anything, he's a 3-time All Pro. And he says he just needs to get accustomed to like just in rhythm with how he move. Okay, if he can get his movements right, because with your back, we're not able really to do anything, honestly, run around or be athletic. So hopefully hopefully his back is 100% healed, and he just needs to get his legs back under him. Hopefully he's getting his legs back under him, but man, that's scary with a back. Because with a back, you're talking about paralysis, bro. Okay? I don't want to see that on the field. So a back is serious. And it's been 2 surgeries. So I pray to God he's 100% from those. And I hope he's finally in a phase to where he's ready to be back to where he was before. Because he's a tackle leader. He led the NFL in tackles, forced fumbles. He's really like that. Okay, he's like think of a Fred Warner from the 49ers. He's like that when healthy. So if he can regain any of that, bro, we're solid. With Zach Cunningham, bro, we're good. Okay, hopefully he can regain some of that. Honestly, but yeah, that's. I hope he can. He said something. He said some more. Let's see what he had else he had to say.
Get my feet back up under me, stuff like that.
With the back surgeries, is it something that takes a while for you to kind of get back to what you were previously?
I'm not. It's just, with a back surgery, you gotta, I couldn't run for 5 or 6 months. So, you got to get back to, get my feet back up under me, making the right steps, make sure.
So he said, I couldn't run for 4 or 5 months. He couldn't run for 4 or 5 months. He had to get his feet back under him. So if this dude is let me tell you something right now. Okay, let me tell you something right now. Okay, if Shaq Leonard has his feet underneath him and he's 100% for the 2 back surgeries and he's good to go, he is legitimately the best linebacker in the NFL. He's under 30. He's like 27, 28. He's a young guy. He's a 3-time All-Pro. He's a 3-time All-Pro. So if he's any shell of himself with Zach Cunningham, because Zach Cunningham has been playing fantastic. He had a week off with a hamstring or something. It was weird, right? But if he is any shell of himself, golly, bro, I'm telling you right now, you can hear it here first. He's gonna revitalize. He can revitalize his career. I just pray to God he stay healthy, man. I just pray to God every player is healthy.
I don't false step, stuff like that. So it's just more so getting back to muscle memory because I couldn't do it for a while.
Do you feel like you were back, like fully back to the form that you were at before? Is there anything that still feels like it needs to be sharpened or is different that you've had to adjust to?
I think it's more so, just planting. Just planting the right way. Just kind of getting used to planting out the left side. I think that's about it.
Nick had mentioned what it was like in practice in Indianapolis, his offense versus you. What are your memories in that? What it's like? Because y'all both seem to be y'all can talk in practice.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of trash talk, and just I felt like we brought out the best in each other, because I knew that Nick was going pull up a great game plan.
Yeah. So I mean, he was with Nick Sirianni and in Indianapolis, and that was part of my point to where I brought up Nick Sirianni having like ties and roots into Indianapolis, where he just pulling from certain guys. So, I mean, I think it was obvious he was signed with the Philadelphia Eagles because one of his former coaches from the Colts was here. So I just think it all ties in together with Nick Sirianni having plugs. He a plug in a certain way, to where a plug is where like, you know, you know what a plug is. You locked in, you attached to certain, different players and corporations where you can always pull from that. And I feel like he's always able to pull from the Colts. So Frank Reich is, really is kind of a thing where like I can see that happening because he pulled from guys from the Colts. He goes and get, some of those guys. But I mean, if Shaq Leonard is anything a shell of himself, as much as we need linebackers, how we got to figure out some at linebacker because all of his plans have been failing. He's been horrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's just as bad as receiver at this point, right? But we're giving Howie really giving him some leeway because he got us receivers finally, and we're in an up and up, okay. But if this linebacker thing needs to be addressed seriously, it should have been addressed years ago. But it's rearing its ugly head, and it's going to boil back down to Howie Roseman. We got Goddard back. Goddard is a difference maker on offense. So I think again with some of these additions, overall on offense, defense, I think we're on the right path. I don't think Dallas is ready for us, honestly. That's your stream, guys. For real, that's your stream. That's your stream. I think overall, I think heading into Dallas, I think we get them good. I think it'll be 28-17. I think we figure out a way to neutralize CeeDee Lamb. We confuse Dak a little bit, get some pressure. I think we win this ball game. We got Dak. We got Dak. So I mean, it's always good to play against Dak because we got film on him, so we know. We're used to him. So we should have a game plan that is that ties into complementary football, meaning it ties into you stopping Dak Prescott, but also doing other things in the game, right? You got to complement certain parts of your game, right? You got a game plan to where, like, if you got a game plan to where it's to stop your quarterback, you have to also do other things off of that, right? So they call it complementary football. So we need complementary football. We need offense, defense, special teams. We need all of these. We need them feeding off each other. But it's going to start. It's going to start with stopping that. I think it's going to start with that. With stopping that, neutralizing him, confusing him. I got faith in Sean Desai. He'll figure it out. He got another little piece. I think we get it done. But yeah, guys, I think we get a dub. I think they're frauds. They're always frauds. They're gonna always be frauds in my eyes. They haven't won a Super Bowl in almost over a quarter century, so they got to go do something. They got to go win something. And if they can't do that, if they can't beat a good team, they're not a good team. If they can't beat a good team, they're not a good team. Hoping y'all losing overtime. If we lose in overtime, we still may be the number one seed. We're in such a good shape. We can afford to lose a couple games here and there. Nick. But I got us beating the Cowboys and cruising right off into the number one seed. This is the Voice of the Eagles show. And like always, God bless those Philadelphia Eagles.